Asante Sana Warden. That means thank you in Swahili, so thank you, Warden. And Monday means let's go. Alright, welcome aboard, everybody. My name is Justin, and I'll be your safari guide for this adventure into the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Just a quick safety reminder, we do need everyone to remain fully seated at all times, keeping hands, arms, feet, and legs inside of the vehicle. Feel free to take photos while we're out here. Just be sure to hang on tight to all of your personal belongings, as it can get a bit bumpy out here. If you are planning on taking photos though, it's probably best to have those cameras at the ready, as we never really know when or where exactly we might find the animals, and we may not be able to stop for some of them. When we do stop, it does tend to be very briefly. Speaking of the animals though, if you look above you, there is an animal spotting guide. That'll give you a heads up what we might find out here, and it can help you to identify some of the animals as we see them. Probably not going to see all of them, but we'll do our best to find as many as we can. We're going to get started in an area of the reserve known as the Little Eternal Forest. Some of the creatures out here might use their markings or coloration to help blend in with their environment. And those tend to be their first line of defense against predators, and it will at times make them a bit harder for us to see. But if you look out to our right, there is a creature over there known as an okapi. The okapi are mostly dark brown, but they do have some white stripes on their legs. Now, those stripes may remind you of a zebra. Well, they're not related to them. They're actually the only known living relative of the giraffe. And they may not have markings like a giraffe or their height and long necks, but they do have a very similar skeletal structure. And like giraffe, they have a very long, prehensile tongue, which they can use to reach out and grab onto their food that they want to eat. Over to our right, on that little hill, there are two large black and white birds. Those are saddle-billed storks. It's pretty common to see them in a pair like that, as they are thought to mate for life, and not just during their nesting season. One of the ways to tell the difference between the male and female saddle-billed stork is by their eye color. Males will have brown eyes, females will have yellow eyes. Over to our left, there is an antelope known as a bongo. Kind of an orangish brown color with horns that angle backwards. Oh, there's a tan-colored antelope over here. Those are the greater kudu. Looks like those greater kudu don't have horns. That would indicate that they are female. So with their species, only the males grow horns. Well, we're going to continue a little deeper into the forest through an area known as the Safi River System. While we make our way through here, you'll want to keep an eye in and around the water for creatures like those. Those are nocturnal though, so they will sleep and rest for most of the day, and typically they're going to sleep underwater. And they can stay down underwater for quite a few minutes at a time before having to come up for air. There's a lot of pelicans down there. Those pelicans look a bit gray, but they're actually known as pink-backed pelicans. They'll get a pink flush to them during their mating season. And that coloration kind of shows through the feathers on their back. Let's see. Even when the hippos are moving through the rivers, they're not going to swim at the surface, so they are able to swim. Typically, they'll just sink down to the bottom and walk along the riverbeds. Not seeing any yet. While they do spend a lot of time in the water, they will come up on the land too, though. That's where they're going to find most of their food. The hippo's main food source is grass. Not seeing any hippos this time around, but As we cross this bridge over to our left, there are some Nile crocodiles. So those crocodiles have an incredibly strong bite. They can chomp down through bone quite easily. Typically they're going to eat fish or birds. So they have it eat pretty much whatever they can get their jaws on. Like creatures larger than themselves. That being said, crocodiles typically don't have much more than one large meal within a week-long period. And if food is scarce, they have been known to go months at a time without eating anything. Alright, well now we're making our way out of the dense forest area and onto the more wide-open savanna. Savannah is the largest portion of our reserve, so we'll be out here for pretty much the rest of our safari. Now, along the way here, we might find some of the more famous, easily recognized animals like giraffe, maybe some zebras, but there's a lot more than just them out here. We never really know who all we're going to find until we're out here. Distance to our right, there are some creatures with some pretty massive horns. Those are Ankoli cattle. We'll be making our way around a little closer to them in a moment or two. Hanging out in amongst the trees over to our right, there are some wildebeest. Probably see quite a few wildebeest along the way here. They are great migrators. They'll travel sometimes over 1,000 miles in search of water during the long periods of drought that the savanna experiences. Now, the wildebeest can travel for about 5 days before having to stop to drink water. They're not going to migrate on their own, as there is safety in numbers, and they definitely have the numbers. At one point, there were so many wildebeest in the wild, you could find over 1 million of them, all migrating together.
Look, what's down there? They're sleeping.
Over in this little clearing on our left, there are some zebras.
Look, there's zebras.
Past the zebras, those are sable antelope with the long, slender, curved back horns. Well, those are Hartman's mountain zebras. Their species has a white underside instead of stripes going all the way around. Towards their back legs, those stripes will get a little thicker and a little further apart. The massive horns on these Ankoli are there for more than just their looks. They will also help them to regulate their body temperature. So they have some veins going through there, so they'll be able to release heat from their bodies out through their horns. As they're grazing throughout the day, the young ones of their group will be watched over by an auntie cow while the rest of the group goes out and grazes. And at night, the entire herd will sleep huddled around the little in order to help protect them from predators. antelope in amongst the clumps of tall grass. Those are known as springbok. They are very small, but they're natural athletes. They can actually reach speeds of around 50 to 60 miles an hour. And they will spring up into the air a good 5 to 6 feet off of the ground. There's a giraffe out in the distance to our right. See if we can get a little closer to them. There we go. There's a giraffe up ahead on the right that we can see rather well. They are the tallest land animals. They'll reach heights of around 18 to 20 feet tall when fully grown. There are different species of giraffe also. These are the Maasai giraffe. They'll have more of a rough, jagged edge to the spots on their coat. As we head a little deeper into the savannah, we're now coming up into elephant territory, so let's see if we can find some elephants. They are the largest land animals, so hopefully if they're out here, they'll be hard to miss. There's another creature that we occasionally see over on our left-hand side. That's where the banded monkeys like to hang out. They're the largest species of monkey, and they have a very distinct blue and red coloration in their face. So they're a little more on the shy side. It's a bit harder to find them. Not seeing any mandrills, so let's see if we can find some elephants. There's one way out in the distance to our right. I'm blending in with a rock wall. We're going to keep on going. Let's see if we can find some more. Trying to see that one out there. I think we can do that. Being such large animals, elephants cover a very large territory, in part because they eat a lot of food. And one day, one elephant typically consumes around 200 to 300 pounds of food. Combine that with farmers having set up their farms in the path of elephant migration, and there has been a bit of human-elephant conflict over the years. There have been helped, though, by some research that Disney conservationists are involved in into how elephants communicate with one another. They learned that elephants actually have a special call that they'll use to warn each other about bees. They're not a fan of bee stings and will typically avoid any areas where bees are found. So, using that information, they were able to develop beehive fences. Beehives at the perimeter of farmland work as a very effective deterrent for elephants without causing them any harm or disrupting the environment. Also benefits farmers with some added pollination from the bees, and with another source of income with the honey that the bees produce. Way out in the distance to our left, I do see a couple more elephants out there. Let's see if we can get a little closer. Oh wow, there's another giraffe over to our left. You probably noticed giraffes have those two little protrusions up on top of their heads. Those are known as ossicones. A little different than horns, ossicones are typically covered in skin and fur. Straight ahead, out in the distance, there's another elephant, and it looks like she has a little one with her. Try and get around to get a closer look at them. Little is kind of a relative term, though, when it comes to elephants. A newborn elephant can already weigh around 300 pounds. Also, in this little pond, there are some greater flamingos. They're the largest species of flamingo, and typically the lightest pink in color. Flamingos are well known for their pink coloration, though that's not something that they're born with. When they're young, they're more of a grayish-white color. But their diet contains a very high concentration of keratin, things like brine shrimp. All that keratin ends up causing them to turn pink. Get one last glimpse of some elephants off to our left as we pass these boulders, but looks like our path is taking us in a little different direction now. Coming up to this mud pit here, though. This is usually a pretty popular hangout area for rhinos. They like to wallow around in the mud on hotter days in order to cool down. And having mud on their skin will help to protect them from getting a sunburn. I don't see any rhinos at the moment. I do see some signs that they have been through here. Oh, yep, there they are. They're hanging out over to our right. So those are known as white rhino. They're going to reach weights in the 4,000 to 5,000 pound range. And they have very wide mouths. Those wide mouths are well suited to grazing on the grass in the Savannah area. Last time I was through here, I saw some cheetahs in the area up ahead to our left. I'll have to keep a sharp eye out for them, as they can blend in very well using their spots. Up ahead on the left, it looks like there is a cheetah up and moving around. That makes it easier to see. The cheetahs are the fastest land animals. They can reach speeds of around 60 miles an hour in as little as about 3 seconds. That is thanks in part to their non-retractable claws. They're the only species of cat, actually, that can't fully retract their claws, but that helps them get the extra traction that they need. Also, while they may be a larger species of cat, unlike a lot of other big cat species, cheetahs actually can't roar. They will hiss and purr. They also make kind of a chirping noise. It's fun to listen to. On this large rock formation, though, we might find another species of big cat, one that definitely can roar. That would be the lion. And the lion's roar can be heard from about 5 miles away. That is if they're not sleeping. That's probably what they're up to right now. They will sleep a good 16 to 20 hours out of every day.
That's a big chicken.
Don't see any lions yet, but out to our right, there are some ostriches over there. They are the largest species of bird. While they do have wings, they are flightless. We'll circle around the rocks. We'll come back to those ostriches in a moment. Oh, there we go. There's a lion. There's a couple of them up there. Snoozing away, as I thought they might be. They'll be most active at night. And during the nighttime, their eyesight is going to be about 5 times better than that of humans' eyesight. As we come around the corner, on our left-hand side are some warthogs. The warthogs have 4 very sharp tusks on their snout. They'll use those to dig around to find food and to dig out burrows. They'll back themselves into their burrow. That way they can cover up most of their body while still leaving their tusks out front to better defend with. That antelope on our left, that is a water buck. commonly found near permanent bodies of water. There's the ostriches out there to our right again, and more rhinos out in the distance. Now, usually the ostriches seem to like to lay their eggs in this area, so keep an eye out for them. It will be hard to miss as they do lay the largest eggs of any bird. And groups of ostriches will lay them in a cluster together. Oh yeah, there we go, on the right-hand side. They are the largest eggs laid by any bird. Just one of them weighs the same as about 24 chicken eggs. And they're durable enough to withstand the weight of an adult human standing on top of them. Glen. Out here, the warden has a little outpost that they've set up with an area to keep some Nigerian dwarf goats. They're cute little creatures. They look like they may still be kids, but they're actually full-grown adults. They are very friendly, social creatures. In fact, if you hop on a Wildlife Express train over to Rafiki's Planet Watch and Conservation Station, they actually have a little affection section out there, a petting zoo, where you can go up and pet some Nigerian dwarf goats, as well as some other domesticated creatures. While you're out at the Planet Watch, you can also check out the animation experience, where you can learn to draw an animated animal character. It's also where our veterinary clinic and animal nutrition center is located. That vet's area has an observation window, so if they're performing any checkups or procedures on our animals, you're able to watch as they do so. On that note, this does about bring our safari to a close. So your animal sightseeing adventures don't have to end here. As soon as you exit the safari, you'll be near the entrance to the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. That is a self-guided walking trail that will typically last around 15 to 20 minutes, depending on your pace. As the name implies, there's an area out there where you might find some gorillas, as well as a whole bunch of other different African animals. A lot of the animals we got to see out here are either endangered or threatened of becoming endangered soon, so we do want to make sure we're doing everything we can to help these animals out. Not just here, but in our own home environments as well. But there are simple things we can all do, like make sure we're practicing the 3 R's as much as possible. Those are, of course, to reduce, reuse, and recycle. May seem like a small thing to us, but when we all work together, it can make a pretty big difference for these animals. Something you may not have thought about recycling are rechargeable batteries, like the ones found in old cell phones. They typically contain minerals that are mined in elephant territory, so the less that we have to get from there, the more we're reusing, the better. As we're making our way back into the village, now would be a good time to take a quick look around you and make sure you have all of your personal belongings with you. Definitely want to make sure that nothing's fallen out of bags or pockets along the way. If we have any wilderness explorers on board, you're going to want to know that you were traveling on board the Simba 1. That is Simba like the lion and the number 1.
That's the next ride. That's what it's really.
If you're looking for something else to do nearby in the village of Harambe, you can also check out the Harambe Theater. It's currently showing the Festival of the Lion King. They'll have their showtime just about every hour on the hour, so the next one will be at 4 o'clock. If you're going to those shows, typically we'll recommend you get there about 30 minutes before showtime, just to help make sure you can get in, get a seat before the show starts. Or if you're looking for more animal sightseeing, just a short walk on over into Asia, you'll find the Maharaja Jungle Trek. Being over in Asia, you'll see different Asian animals, including possibly some Komodo dragons and maybe even some Sumatran tigers. Looks like our assigned loading dock is just about ready for us, which does mean it is about time for us to part ways. So here in Harambe, we don't really like to say goodbye. Instead, we'll use the Swahili phrase, kwaherini. Kwaherini translates to go well. So I hope y'all will go well and enjoy the rest of your day here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, or wherever else your adventures may take you. And if you get a chance, come back by again sometime and go on another safari. We like to say no two safaris are ever going to be the same. Animals definitely make sure of that for us. If you're on the right, watch your hands, arms, feet, legs. Doors are opening now. Watch your step down as you exit, and kwaherini, everyone.
Thank you.